Y'all doing out here hoeing? It's time to play guess what crop this is. Shouldn't be too hard for some of you. This is tobacco. Yep. You got a hand hoe when you're growing tobacco. Get all them weeds out of it. Can you imagine walking over acre after acre and hand hoeing? Of course we do cultivate it first, but then you got to go back over it with your hoe. And hey, yeah, this is our little test patch of tobacco I got here. We try to make it look like a whole field, but it's just a little test patch we got right now. See that hoe? Used to be a normal size hoe, you know, down to here. But over the years, it's been worn and used so much it's worn down. I guess 2.5, 3 inches are worn off of it from hoeing all those years, and we ended up using one of the fancy hand ride out 5-foot long tobacco sticks as a handle one time. See, it got a cool knot in it right there. But anyhow, this has been over many an acre of tobacco. We got several different hoes and that we've used for, well, I guess my dad and then my grandfather before him used them, and I wouldn't know how to use a new hoe. Actually, these are a lot better. You can turn her sideways and get in a little spot, but it takes a lot of patience, and you ain't doing it in the cool of the year. You're walking over it in July and some in the beginning of August, depending on how late you planted your tobacco. But and you gotta keep an eye out for tobacco worms and pull them off. I don't think I see any of them out here, but anyhow, did you all get a close look? That's what your tobacco plant looks like in the heat of the day. It kind of wilts down like that, and these plants will get a whole lot bigger. They'll get tall as I am. But see this stuff growing along in here? We got those are morning glories. We don't want them. They can make such a mess in tobacco you'll want to take a bush hog to it. But anyway, there she be. Yeah, we had about 25 acres or so that we would harvest here. Which don't sound like much, but it's all done by hand, and we didn't have a whole lot of help. Usually it was just Dad and I and one or two other fellas, so it's a lot of hard physical labor, but it put money in the bank and food on the table, I guess. So anyhow, all right, I just figured make a short little video, and this is another stage in the growing of tobacco. Catch you later. Hey, how you doing? We had a thunderstorm last night, and a lot of wind and blew the tobacco over, so if you don't want the stalk to go like that, you gotta go and set them all back up. And when we used to raise 25 acres or so, we get a storm like that, guess what we'd be doing? We'd be walking over 25 acres of tobacco and setting it back up and trying to get it to stand back up. The dogs weren't any help then either. But it was a lot of work. But if you don't, it's all crooked and it's just so hard to handle when you cut it and put it on the stick and you're trying to hang it in the barn. It would just be all, when you're trying to spear it on the stick and the stalk is shaped like a snake or something, it's just a lot harder to deal with, and the leaves don't develop as nice, and the quality of your crop goes downhill. So we would have to, it was especially susceptible to blowing over when they were full-size plants with the tops on them. When you got the flowers on them, there's just so much leverage there for the wind to grab and throw them over. It was, I remember taking days to walk through the field, setting them back up. It was just ridiculous. But anyhow, that's what like my dad would say, that's some of the dumb stuff we used to do. All right. I'm glad I'm able to talk some of you all into starting to raise this crop. It's wonderful, isn't it? Catch you next time.